There was once a peaceful village that lay in a valley surrounded by hills and a clear river. For many years, the village thrived, with farmers harvesting abundant crops and merchants trading goods with neighboring lands. The villagers lived in harmony, enjoying prosperity and happiness. But one year, everything changed. Crops began to fail, animals grew sick, and the once busy marketplace stood nearly empty. Accidents began to happen mysteriously, walls crumbled, tools broke without warning, and even the weather turned harsh. Fear spread among the people. Something was wrong, but no one could explain it. The king, deeply troubled by the village's downfall, decided to seek divine intervention. He summoned the village priest to his court. Together, they performed a sacred ritual, calling upon the oracle for guidance. After hours of prayer and sacrifice, the oracle finally spoke through the priest. The peace of the village has been shattered by a curse, the oracle revealed. To lift the curse, a treasure lost long ago must be recovered. It lies within the lion's den, hidden deep in the forest. Only when this treasure is brought back will peace return to the village. The villagers gasped. The lion's den was a place of terror, a dark cave surrounded by the fiercest lions known in the region. Over the years, many had ventured close, but none had ever returned. The very thought of retrieving the treasure filled the villagers with dread. The king, however, knew that the village's survival depended on recovering the treasure. Summoning his courage, he addressed the crowd that had gathered outside the temple. "Who among you will be brave enough to enter the lion's den and retrieve the treasure?" the king asked. "Whoever succeeds will have great rewards, my daughter's hand in marriage and the throne of the kingdom after I pass away." The villagers stood in silence. Not a single soul stepped forward. Fear was too great a barrier. The thought of entering the lion's den was unthinkable. Day after day, the king waited, but no one dared to volunteer. As time passed, the situation in the village worsened. Crops continued to fail, and the people grew more desperate. The king himself suffered a personal tragedy. His only son, the heir to the throne, passed away from a sudden illness. This loss crushed the king, but he knew he had to remain strong for his people. Without the treasure, the village would be lost. One day, the king gathered the villagers at the edge of the forest, near the entrance to the lion's den. His voice, filled with both sorrow and determination, echoed through the crowd. "We cannot wait any longer. If no one dares to recover the treasure, our village will be doomed. I offer not just the throne and my daughter's hand in marriage, but the highest honor and the future of our people to whoever retrieves the treasure." The villagers looked at one another, their faces full of fear and uncertainty. No one moved. The tension was thick in the air. Suddenly, without warning, a young man called Kojo leaped into the lion's den, and everyone was shocked. He was not a warrior or a leader, just a simple farmer, known for his quiet demeanor and hard-working nature. The crowd gasped as they saw Kojo fall toward the entrance of the den, and before anyone could stop him, he was inside. A hush fell over the crowd. No one could believe what they had seen. Had Kojo actually volunteered? The villagers whispered amongst themselves in disbelief. Minutes ticked by like hours, and the crowd stood in stunned silence, waiting, barely daring to breathe. The king, too, was silent, his eyes fixed on the entrance of the den. No one could be sure what had just happened or whether Kojo would survive. Then, to the amazement of all, Kojo emerged from the lion's den. In his hands, he held the treasure, a glowing artifact of ancient beauty. It sparkled in the fading sunlight, a sign that the village's curse was finally broken. The villagers erupted into cheers. The king, overjoyed, rushed forward and embraced Kojo, declaring that peace would return to the land. The village had been saved. But while the crowd rejoiced, Kojo looked bewildered. His face was filled with confusion and disbelief. He raised his hand, silencing the celebration, and shouted, "Who pushed me?" The crowd fell silent. It was true, Kojo hadn't entered the lion's den by choice. Someone had pushed him. But no one came forward to claim responsibility. The mystery of who had sent Kojo into the den remained unsolved, but the villagers didn't dwell on it for long. All they knew was that the curse was lifted, the treasure was found, and their lives could finally return to normal. Kojo's story teaches us two valuable lessons. First, bravery is not always about choosing to face danger. Sometimes, it's about how we handle challenges when they are thrust upon us. Kojo didn't step into the lion's den willingly, he was pushed. Yet, despite his fear and confusion, he found the courage to rise to the occasion and bring back the treasure that saved his village. Second, this story shows us the importance of taking action, even if we are uncertain or afraid. In life, we often hesitate to pursue our goals or face challenges because we are waiting for the perfect moment or for our fears to disappear. But as Kojo's experience reveals, sometimes we need a push, whether from life circumstances or from those around us, to take that first step. Once we begin, we often find that we are stronger and more capable than we imagined. So what have you learned from this story? Well, for me, I've learned that bravery is revealed through action. We may not always choose the challenges we face, but how we respond to them defines our strength. Like Kojo, we might not always know who or what pushes us toward our destiny, but we can still rise to the occasion and accomplish great things. I will also like you to share what you have learned in the comments section. So, don't wait for fear to disappear. Be brave, take that first step, and start now.